But anyway, we're glad to have, I didn't pronounce his name, Miss Carmichael. I remember that, but I was like, my mind went blank all of a sudden. But Miss Carmichael's here with us, and she and your husband came last year. Okay, so yeah, and I know she got a great story for you, and look forward to having everybody hear it. So that's a great thing. Thank you. I turned it over to her.
Presentation, right, like PowerPoint. I'm all big on technology and what's out there today. And also I teach college part-time at the University in Arlington, Virginia. So these are just some things we're going to go over. I'm going to give you a little bit about me throughout, so you know my history and my background story, and some statistics on what's going on current today with education and where you are in college and how you can benefit from it, and give you some common traits that make people successful in life and in college and benefits of continuing education. Because once you leave here, I want you to keep on going and keep on going, because there's lots of benefit factors that'll help you in the long run at any age and stage you are in life. Education is the most important part of one's life. Not everyone goes right to college, right to high school, right? Some say college is not intended for everyone. Some people decide to go to work or join the military or live high up the hog with their parents. College is expensive, and some say it's even hard. However, college is not a bad thing. It has some good qualities after all. For instance, it can be a time where students can venture out and meet new people, an opportunity to better yourself, get a higher paying job, and get away from home. After high school, many people do not consider going to college for whatever reason it is. Now, going to college is not an option for me. See, my parents never went to college, and watching my parents struggle to make ends meet, I just knew that's not where I wanted to end up being. Therefore, I do not want to live my life paycheck to paycheck and worry about whether or not I'm going to be able to have enough money to have a roof over my head. The reason for going to college is that I want to live a better life and not to struggle in order to just survive. That's just a little bit about me and my struggle with my family. My dad had a 6th grade education, and my mom had a 9th grade education. So we were in the projects of Columbus, Ohio. So I saw my parents make that struggle from paycheck to paycheck. Days where you come home, you don't know if your lights are on or off. Hoping that we had enough food in our cabinets just to eat. So, but you never tell anyone those stories because you're supposed to live like, let everybody know everything's okay. But that's something I don't want for myself. My parents did stress education, even though they didn't have it. So that's why I'm pressing on for everyone else to get an education. I don't know if you can see some of the statistics out there today. Each level of education gives you an increase in pay. So that's one good advantage. The more money you make, the more education you have, the more money you can make in the long run. Right now, this program is 2 years here at James Strong. So if you continue on after leaving here, you progressively can make at least $20,000 more of a pay difference if you get your bachelor's degree. So whatever that is in. And those are just current statistics that was out there today. I looked in it was the U.S. Census, that was 2013, showing what the trade is in North Carolina. So for associate's degree, going to college is about $20,000 difference. So with a bachelor's degree, depending on what your degree is in, you can earn about $50,000 roughly. If you continue on to get your doctorate or get a specialty degree, you're looking at about $65,000. And if you keep going up, it goes up more. So college is something to everyone. it means a lot to me. It's time, very lot of time, hard work, dedication, and just spending time away from your family or your loved ones. So if you can give one word, what does college mean to you? Just want everyone to say what college means to you, just using one word.
Better.
What was it?
Better.
Better?
Exciting.
Exciting.
Oh my goodness.
I like excitement.
That's good.
Challenging. Money.
Education.
Education opportunities.
Choices. Fun.
Fun choices. Okay. And those are it. And those are everything, everyone has a reason for college. Everyone feels that college is something to everyone. But these are some reasons why people are dropping out of college. In order to know what you need to do, in order to get ahead, you need to know what people have done to drop off the way. And the challenging piece has come up. Whether it's you're away from your family members, you're challenging, especially if you're a working parent like I am, full-time mom, you never can cut that off, it's part-time mom. Or you have a spouse, or you're working, and you're trying to go to school, get your education. Those are the challenges that we have to face today. Let's see, another thing is just expensive, just like you said. College is not cheap. It's not cheap to get an education. I wish it was. I wish there was such thing as free education for all. Maybe one day with down the line with different presidencies, we may be able to get there, but it just depends on what we do with our economy here. Spending less time with your friends and families, that could be a challenge for those. You have to learn how to balance that out, especially today. Not everyone is just a full-time student and that's all they do. A lot of people have a job or responsibility. So does any of these stand out? We have about 71% of people say that college, the reason why they drop out is because of the stress over time, anxiety. It can be overwhelming, especially when you have a professor that, like I was telling Melvin, I said I had a professor that was very demanding. You know, first day had like 7 articles for us to read. You know, they wanted, in each article had about anywhere from 10 to 20 pages. And then on top of that, she wanted us to have 2 videos that we have to watch, was about an hour and a half long, all on the first day. So when you got in the class, you're like, she said, well, have you talked about it? Everybody talked about it. Those that didn't, she said, okay, 1, 2, 3, thank you, remove yourself. And they said, what do I do? I come back? She said, no, you're done for the day. She said, you're done for this semester. I only teach this class once a year, so see you next time. So those are some challenges later on in life you'll experience. And that was a strict professor, but luckily I've had her before, so I knew her deal. But those are things that people may face. And then sometimes the biggest thing is letting people know what's going on in your life. A lot of times we would keep secrets to ourselves, like I'm struggling in class. You know, I talked to a couple of my friends, like, hey, I ain't making it. Can you help me? And get that one-on-one network with your classmates, because if not, it could be hard, and you're not there out alone. So the thing is, utilize your classmates and your friends, and this is a great opportunity to do great networking. Because everyone is going through something.
Amen.
So why are some people successful and others aren't? There are 6 common traits that make people successful. One is energy. It takes a whole lot of energy to get up and go to school. It takes a whole lot of energy to stay up at night doing homework. It takes a whole lot of energy to do other things on top of that. Staying focused, knowing that the prize at the end is rewarding. So just because you're done with this program, you need to look at further ahead. Think about, what do you want to see yourself 10, 20 years from now? Do you want to see yourself at that same job? Do you want to see yourself advancing more? Where do you want to go? And write it down. My biggest thing is I'm a planner. I write everything down. It doesn't always happen that way, but I write it down. Networking, like I said. This is your opportunity to network with your professors, building that rapport with them, even the ones you may not like, because you never know who they know and what the opportunities they may have for you. Being flexible. Sometimes we don't always want to be flexible. I know I'm not always going to be flexible, and actually my job is a mental health counselor, and I say that because sometimes I don't want to be flexible at all. But I know that in order to give a little, in order to get something, I have to give a little, and they have to be out of my comfort zone. So if a professor actually do something, you know, as long as within brackets, you may want to just look and see the opportunities that may hold for you. Conflict, pick and choose your battles. That's one big thing, even in the classwork, even in the job force. Sometimes you need to be boisterous. You need to be that advocate for that position, or be that advocate for that other person that won't speak for themselves. But there's times where you just need to sit back and not say anything. For me, as a ex-Marine, it's kind of hard for me not want to just sit back and not say anything, because I want to advocate for people and set egos aside. Even I have classmates that are all on their own. They don't want to be talked to. They sit in class. You know, they don't want to socialize, and that's maybe fine, but they kind of, you know, be isolated, and you don't want to do that. Those that isolate themselves it tends to be a little harder for them to keep up. Am I talking too fast? Have a short video. Did any of that stand out for you?
Could everybody see it?
The biggest thing it was saying is basically just, I gotta figure out what's okay. It's like 2 minutes. Can you see it now? Did anything stand out for you? And what was it?
Exercise, meditate.
Yeah, those are things I feel like. I really want to say I exercise. After I was in the Marine Corps, so you had to exercise. But since I've been out of the Marine Corps, I ain't exercise. I keep saying I'm gonna do these things, and I see my weight going up, and I'm just holding on to little strands and get the elastic together. But those are things I need to do, just to make sure I stay balanced, and not so much exercising physically, but just mentally. Like I have to do a data dump sometimes after school. You know, when I'm in class, sitting there with the long professor who's boring, I sit there and have to do something. You know, take a walk to get some fresh air, just let my mind go and my brain go. And I'm a reality junkie, so that's my fun time. I'll sit there and just watch. I mean, stuff I probably need to be watching, but I love it, and it just gives me something to relax me. But that's something that you have to figure out what's going to be balanced for you. Because if you're just always going to school and it's all you're doing is school work, you need to have something because you don't want to get burned out. You want to have some type of outlet. Whether you go want to get a manicure, a pedicure, when you go in the barbershop, get your hair done, or you're just going shopping or just relaxing, or spending time with your cat and dog or whatever. You just need to do something as your outlet. The biggest thing is people do get burned out in school. The more education you go, further in education you go, the more stress it is. So we just need to figure out something that's going to relieve that stress for you so you can continue on with your education. I'll give you a little more about myself. My parents were dirt poor. They didn't know how to manage money, so in order for me to go to school, I had to do something. So when I was in high school, I decided probably in my sophomore year that I'm going to get my grades together after barely passing my freshman year of high school. So I did graduate high school with almost a 3.0, but I ended up getting a minority scholarship to go to school at Ohio State because at that time they didn't have that many African Americans or minorities, so they did a minority push. So they gave out a lot of scholarships to people that probably shouldn't have went right away, but they did that so we can go. My first year, it was a struggle because my grades really, I look back on it, you know, a D, yes, I passed. And that was it. Whatever I needed to pass, that was it. So I would say my first 2 years, it was just a battle. You know, right before I'm about to get that F, you know, but I kept on going because I knew that, I looked back at my parents' face and they were so proud of me. You know, they know what my grades were like. I was a good BSer. Like, yeah, I'm doing great, you know, because they weren't right there with me. But I did well. I pushed forward. Then when I got into actually my program study, something I was really passionate about. First, I thought I wanted to do, I said I want to do engineering. That's where all the money's at. So I put all my focus on engineering. Then I kept getting D's and F's and Macs. Well, maybe that ain't going to be for me. Then I said, maybe science. I really like science. Then I kept getting D's and F's in science. Like, maybe that's not for me. Then I said, well, I'm pretty funny. I could be an actress. Then I know you have to actually take a class. You have to do all this reading and, you know, with poetry and then all the Where Art Thou books. And I got to be in that. So I said, well, man, I can't be no actress. So I went about 7 times throughout between freshman and junior year deciding on what I'm going to do. I didn't tell my academic advisor I'm going to change my degree. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I added it up about 7 times until I figured out what I really wanted to do. And it was 2 degrees, 2 classes. So I was like, well, my professor sat down with me and looked at my grades. She said, look, Frida, I don't know what you're looking at, but these are the only grades you're making A's in, and it's history and it's criminal justice. Everything else you're making an F in, or D, you barely pass it. So what do you want to do? I said, well, she said, pick one. I said, I couldn't pick because I like both of them, so she put both of them on there. And she said, well, when you decide, you let me know. I said, okay, I can do that. So I took both classes and ended up graduating with both. And I couldn't decide, I liked both. And I actually graduated on time because it's something I was passionate about. And the biggest thing is picking a degree that you're passionate about. I thought I would do nursing because nursing makes more money. I thought all these things. I said, okay, when I talked to my dad, I'm going to do history. He said, what are you going to do with history? He was like, you're not going to make no money? Is you gonna be a school teacher? I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do in history. What are you gonna do a criminal justice? You gonna work for the police department? You gonna be a police officer? You didn't need a degree for that. I said, I don't know, but but these are the only things I'm doing well in. So after doing that, I did go and get a good job. I'm gonna say it was okay. Made $9, first job right out of college, and that wasn't a lot of money then, but I liked it. I was at a halfway house, and I thought it was pretty good, and I thought I wanted to be at a halfway house forever and ever. Then people start getting on my nerves. So I changed, and over time I changed careers. I'm a person with, I have to like who I work with, not so much the job I'm doing. So I can deal with a lot of stuff at the works, but if I don't like the people, my coworkers, they may not work for me. And that's a big thing about networking, have that friendship and finding a family when you find a work site. Because then you feel like when you're going to work, it's not really like work, it's like just hanging out with my friends. Even though I'm doing some assignments, but it's fun. And that's where you have to find your passion. And then when I went to the military, I said, I like the military, it's fun. And then the war began. I said, I ain't trying to shoot up nobody no more. I don't want to go. Never know. People are coming back, they're not coming back. So when the opportunity arose, I said, okay, I'm gonna get out. I got out. And then I said, what am I gonna do with this? So I'm gonna go back to school. So I said, well, what do I like? I said, well, I like talking to people, counseling, and seeing how that goes. So I went back to school later on and got my degree in counseling, mental health counseling. And then I said, well, let me continue on. Keep pushing people and say, continue on your education. So I need to at least set the example and keep going. So that's what I did. I went on, right after graduating my master's, went right to the doctoral program in counseling. So that's where I'm at today, counseling. And my biggest thing is I push education push. I like, keep going, don't matter what age or stage you are in life. Because you're never too old to stop learning.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question on myself. Is it common, does it make sense, how can I say this? Is it natural to get tired at the end when you get ready to graduate? That's the way I find myself now. I'm tired, but I'm getting ready to graduate, hopefully. And I feel like I just want to stop.
And
Is that common?
It is, and I'm
Because I've been doing so well.
And I'm that way right now. This is my last semester, and I picked my last 2 semesters to feel like I'm slacking off.
Yes.
And I'm like, what in the heck is going on?
Yes,
But because
thank
you see that, and you're in that mode, like, I'm about to graduate, I'm tired, I'm done with it. But you just have to push on. And it's just that in every stage I've been, it's been the last 2 semesters I've been struggling. And I'm like, is it the weather? Is it me? I think it's just because it's over.
Yes.
It's almost. You're almost done.
Thank you.
But that is normal. That is so normal. And I talk to all my friends and say both, that is normal. And we don't know, we gotta get something out of our tail to get us going so we can graduate.
Yes.
But yeah.
Because I don't want to give up. I've been too far.
And then when you start the new program, you'll feel energized and energetic, and then towards the end, it'll happen again. It's a cycle. Yes, sir.
I always looked at it throughout my life, trying to achieve various goals. Always, when you get to that point where the pain is coming, to me, that's a test to see if you really, really want it. It's a test, and I think most people go through that.
Yeah.
Because some people will get it right there at the peak,
Yeah.
quick. And then 20 years down the road, they have regrets. You don't ever want to live with regrets.
No.
If I would have, could have. So that's a test to see, do I really want this? If you keep persevering, you do.
And I hear my parents, especially my mom, tell me she wished she went to college. She wished she'd done this, wish she finished this. And so I don't want to ever have to do that. I want to say, oh, I've done it. And if it didn't work out, then okay, but at least I tried it.
Yes. Thank you.
But see, you have your other networking going on right here telling you, hey, it is normal. I'm feeling the same thing. So you're not alone. So biggest thing, continue the education. Once you leave here, where are you going to go next? And some people, I'm done with school, it's over. But you never know, you're going to need that later on. Because when you go to your next job, you may want to be the supervisor. You may not, that's the reason why I went to school one time to go further my education, because I didn't like the supervisor, but I think I could do better than that. How do you, she's like, well, you gotta get your education. Okay, I don't wanna do that. And I didn't go back to that job, but I wanted something to be better at. I want to be able to have that opportunity with that education, because whether I need it or not, at least I have it. And also with the education, you definitely make more money. It does open up doors for your opportunities, where you are employment. So if you don't want one job, you go into another one. It's not like if you have to stick with that job because that's all you know, that's all you can do, that's all you know.
Yeah, I feel good about that part.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. And depending on whatever it doesn't matter what your area is. And always think about, because when I thought about, when I was undergrad, I thought about criminal justice, all I thought about police officer, FBI. But then later on I thought, wow, there's so much more than just that I wasn't even open to. So many branches of service, so many different opportunities in public service, in public health. In North Carolina, anywhere, there's so much opportunities out there. But sometimes we're so limited and focused on one position that we have to keep our minds open that opportunities may knock on our door. And the biggest thing for me, most of the jobs I got was through network. A friend told me, hey, they're hiring here. Got it. And that's been the biggest thing. So I always keep contact with people I know, even if it's like once a year, because I would say I have a lot of associates, have only a few close friends. Like 2 or 3 close friends that know all my business to a degree. But I do. I call every people in my phone book, in my phone once a year. But hey, remember me from school, last year, and I said, honestly, I'm sorry, I probably suck at being a friend. And they're like, oh no, we do, network and tell me what's going on with you, and let me know about them. And we do it like once a year. So those are good friends. We know you call somebody once a year, pick up the phone and just seeing how they're doing, and then seeing where they're at in their career move. And then with all the social media, I'm not big on Twitter or tweet and all that, but I know people put their job opportunities out there. Most of our generation is not looking at putting like derogatory things on Facebook or anything that hurt us in a career. It's one thing I do is I look at people's profile, you may not want to have this picture looking for this job out there. And I did it for all my students when I'm teaching the master program, because some of the students, they're still young, they're just fresh out of undergrad, and look, there's some things out there that you may not want just because you do and you got little half bra, things like that you may not want to do, because employers are looking at that, and that's the first thing they look at is what you do. And then also is who you know, and your reputation supersedes itself. So if you're known as being a nasty person, they're gonna remember that. If you're known as someone who's gonna push forward and do what you can and be a hard worker, then they're gonna remember you for that. So that's what you want to be remembered for. And even as your class, as your professors look at you, you want to be remembered for, hey, I am a hard worker. I don't just slack off. I put forth effort and I ask the right questions, or I ask questions. Professors remember those things.
I know my mother used to tell me, always leave a job in a way where you can come back. And I didn't really know what she meant by that, but she mean, do good, so, you can always, if you have to go back that same board, it won't be a problem.
Oh yeah, and I do that. And like, for me, I give people way advance notice, I give them a month notice. Everybody, that is so ridiculous. And I felt very bad when I left one of my jobs. So I'm gonna give you 30 days. And because I already knew I was gonna leave. And I kind of knew what date I was gonna leave. I could have waited 2 weeks, but I already knew what day. I just want to give them that notice. So I knew they'd make a schedule. So it's being mindful and being respectful of their time and your time as well.
Yeah.
People remember that. No, even they don't like to see me go, but they're like, hey, she did give us advance notice more than 2 weeks, more than was required. Just putting forth that little extra. And also giving them a little thank you note. Thank you for letting me be here, Rewards of a college education. In grade school, he heard about it. In high school, he prepared for it. In his first year, he explored it. In his second year, he focused on it. In his third year, he felt part of it. In his 4th year, he graduated from it. Now, he has a job because of it. And that's the biggest thing we want to do, is have a job at the end. And just know, for me, I never got a job right away out of college. It took me like a little bit of time, because also when I left, everybody else left college too. So we all graduated the same, so we're all, some of us hunting for a job at the same time. So the biggest thing is planning ahead. So if you're at your last semester or 2 semesters, now's the time to put your applications out there. Now's the time to go ahead and sit for whatever state test you have to do to get those certifications that may be required of you, or to take your civil service test, whatever you're gonna do. The biggest thing is just to plan far enough, because those jobs don't come right away. And when you apply, it may take you about a month or 2 or even longer. Like the job that I just left, I didn't even remember I applied. That's how long I applied. And it was like 6 or 7 months. I look back at my record, it was like 6 or 7 months. I'm like, and then they called me. But you just never know. And sometimes maybe the opportunity was not right for me at that time. But I know that every job I had, it came on time. Even the jobs that I did not have good experience at, the jobs that I dragged going every day. But I learned something from it, because I said, well, that was something I know what not to do, or how I want to be, or who I don't want to be. Any questions? Thank you. I hope all go keep on going to school and finish your education. Beyond here, go on to the 4-year program.
Press my way, keep on
Press your
pressing.
way, because if you don't need it, at least you got it. And then you can always benefit from it.
Question, say the form of grade, any life lessons that you want to share with us? Did you have shoot somebody? You did have shoot somebody?
In
I said that
Iraq?
in jail.
No, I did in Iraq.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one thing about the military I did not know. I was so naive. That's the best way to put it. I just thought when you join the military, I thought I'd be working behind a desk. You know, that was my job in the military when I was here in the United States. But when I got into Iraq, it changed quickly, and everybody, well, we're gonna go out into the area, which is off compound, and we're gonna, my job was delivering money. I was the comptroller, so I was an officer. My job was going around to each compound delivering money. So like if the military had accidentally blew up your house because they thought an Iraqi was there, that was a terrorist there, and they did it by accidentally, I have to pay them. So that was my job, going around. So I think, okay, that's no problem. But then when they start shooting, I'm looking back. Everybody got their weapon. I'm like, and I'm ducking and diving. Like, they say, "You better shoot." I'm like, and back then I was they call it peace box. I barely passed, marksmanship. But after that, going Iraq, I was hitting targets right on. I paid attention what I needed to do to make sure I was able to shoot quickly and fast. So those are things I did not know. I didn't tell my parents until I got out in the military I was actually shooting, because I thought also being a female, you will never be up there and shooting. I was so naive. I mean, you're trained to do it, but me actually applying, actually doing it, and I was thinking, okay. And the whole time I was in training in the military, I thought this was a joke. Like, okay, I'm walking around with this weapon, I'm shooting, yes, but none of this is gonna ever happen. I was very naive. So anyone that goes in the military, I tell them, especially a female, please pay attention to this shooting, because that actually does happen. Go ahead.
Thanks for your presentation. In the United States or around the world, the military is one of the places that you are really taught leadership skills. Besides that, it's very, very difficult for you to really get a good grasp unless you are somebody who's motivated to read or do research on leadership. Based on your experience, if you can share with us, which sectors, since you have a lot of experience of working different, which sectors really influence your leadership credentials that change certain dynamics in you?
I think it was my supervisors. Every job I had, even out of the military, I looked at them as modeling, or I looked at them as a role model, or a model that I don't want to model. I had some I learned more from horrible supervisors than really good ones. Because I learned what not to do and what I don't want to be, and how to treat people. And that was the biggest thing. I don't like anyone that's nasty, and I don't want to be talked down to, and I don't want to talk down anyone else. So I was always an advocate for those that did that. And I think that was really what it was. For me in the military, I saw that a little bit, but out in the public sector, I saw that even more, especially people hold their title, and title means nothing to me. It's just your attitude about it. Because you can be the well-paying president of the company, if you got a crappy attitude, you're gonna have high turnover. But people that really like their jobs because they like their supervisor, they like their employees, and that's the thing that keep your company growing.
That's right.
So, thank you.
It has always interested me when I would meet female military people, because, women get stereotyped a lot. I always believe that women do anything a man can do. But when you were in that shooting in Army, can you explain to me what goes on in your mind? I mean, you say you have to take somebody's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does the military condition you on how you should think and behave once you take somebody out? Because I used to be a hitchhiker, and a few times I was living in Durham and working in Robinson, my thumb was wrong, and I had made my mind that if someone bothered me, I was going to take them out. But I never killed anybody, but I trained my mind to do it if I had to, but thank God I didn't. I've had a couple episodes, but people thought I was serious with that and all. So, is there any special training that you make a study? Maybe you take psychology?
Well, in the military, there's actually no special training for teaching you how to deal with killing someone. Yeah, it's just like survival. Either you're gonna run or you're gonna fight. And when you're there and everyone's shooting around you, if you got a weapon and the shooter's gonna go down, you're gonna shoot. But that's just your survival instincts. Maybe it's just how I grew up, but living in a project, you still shoot, you get down. You get in the house, you do something. But that's the thing. One thing that the military, I would say personally, from my experience, they lack, and that's what I would love for them to. They do it on the back end. They kind of do a debriefing on what you went through, and I think my biggest part was not so much the shooting; it was picking up baby bodies. Little bodies, babies that was blown up. That was my biggest hard thing to try to remember or try to decompress. Is just doing that, because somewhere in the blast, it's gonna be innocent. And when it's the children that's innocent, or when you see the enemy letting them blow up their child right in front of you, to try to take a few Marines or soldiers out, that's the hard thing. Because I feel for that child, because that child don't know. So those are things that a lot of military have to deal with, and that's why, like in my one thing I wanted to do for my dissertation is talk about psychological injuries of veterans and the stigma behind treatment. Why don't veterans go for treatment? Because we're told not to. Why you're in active, because if you go to some treatment, you get stigmatized. That makes you weak, you're less than. So that's something I want to try to break. So that's my future research and future life after school, what I want to push for towards the military.
I think that a person that could, I know you have to kill sometimes to survive, but a human being that can kill with ease, with no serious motivation, they have a problem.
Oh yeah.
I've studied a lot of military history and war something that the person just go blow up a bunch of people.
And that's what you see today. A lot of military coming out. My mom talked to me, she said, what's going on with you military people? You're getting out the military, blowing everybody up. I'm like, if you're taught to shoot and kill, it's kind of sometimes hard to turn that off. So people don't remember, especially if you've been out there multiple times. A lot of people went out on 6 deployments, which is deployment will be anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half at a time. You're out there. And then my mom told me the other day, I didn't even know we were still at war. So, because she's all about listening to what's on the news right now. If the news is not talking about Iraq or Afghanistan, you don't know that the war's still going on. You think we're somewhere else, and we're still there. So those are things that social media has a lot to play on. And it's unfortunate that a lot of our people are going out there. But hopefully, one day, hopefully, we can be peaceful or stay out of people's business. That's my own personal take on it.
You have a powerful story. I think you're probably gonna write a book one day because you have
I
great
want to.
stories, you know.
Yeah, but my biggest thing is just to help veterans and then push education.
Yeah.
So those two things are my passion. So you want to keep on going to school? Please talk to me. I love talking about going to college. And I help people fill out the application. And I've done that for people. Say you want to make sure you have this online, help you fill out scholarships. So, and just because, don't matter what your grade is, I found scholarships for just like everything. Maybe I'll give you to you. I have like the binder stuff. And it's all on PDF and stuff.
This PowerPoint, are you going to email it to us or?
Yeah, I will. I will get emails to him,
Yeah.
and it's on Prezi, so I'll just email you a link.
No.
But you have to go on technology and Prezi. I love it.
So you did it from prison?
No, I just did it. I did this just for y'all.
Okay.
I
Well,
love
you,
it.
Special.
you use Prezi?
Yeah, I use
Okay.
Prezi's presentation. It's an interactive PowerPoint. And they have different types and it's different slides you can
Slides, you
use.
know,
And I love it.
Any more questions? Any concerns?
Thank
I
you.
think you did a fantastic
Yeah.
job.
Yes.